In California, near the city of San Jose, one of the most mysterious mansions of the world rises. His corridors look like an endless maze. Stairs lead to the ceiling, the doors open into the void, and the windows overlook the walls. This house is not created for people, but for something else. His story is connected with a woman named Sarah Lockwood Winchester. Her life was overshadowed by a series of difficult trials. At first, she lost her child, and years later, she was left without a spouse. All the wealth and surname, which once seemed unshakable, turned into a burden. Left alone, Sarah more and more plunged into her own thoughts. According to legend, she turned to spiritualists for advice who were very popular in that era. One of them said that her fate is associated with countless stories of people who suffered from the products of the Winchester's company. These souls seemed to look for her. The only way out was the construction of a house that should not stop. While the walls will grow while the beats of hammer and drank, the forces from the past will not be able to overtake the hostess. So in 1884, Sarah bought a farmhouse in San Jose and began to rebuild it. Since then, the construction has not stopped for almost 40 years. Every year, the house grew like a living organism. The workers worked day and night. Sarah gave instructions even after midnight, and the builders tirelessly built new rooms and walls. As a result, the mansion turned into a real maze, doors opening in a blank wall, stairs leading to the ceiling, windows that go inside the house, corridors lost in endless turns. There was a staircase where each step rose only a few centimeters, but at the same time it had dozens of turns and occupied a whole wing. There were windows in the floor and ceiling, chandeliers with 13 hooks, stained glass windows with symbols that many could not explain. For an accidental guest, the house seemed ridiculous, but Sarah claimed that everything was built according to a special plan, which she receives through night revelations. The mansion abounded with hidden doors and hidden moves. Sarah could suddenly appear in any corner of the house, as if he had become part of it. They say that she had the habit of changing the bedrooms every night. She never remained twice in the same room, so that no one could say exactly where she was. This gave her life a shade of constant movement and unpredictability. The hostess called some rooms session. There she retired for many hours, and in the morning the builders appeared new tasks. No one knew what exactly she did in these rooms, but everyone understood. It was there that the next drawings of future halls and corridors were born. Sarah almost did not leave the walls of the mansion. All her time was connected with construction. For her, the house was not just a dwelling, it became a reflection of its inner world. They said that sometimes at night, a quiet ringing was heard from the windows, as if someone was walking along the corridors. The servants claimed that the hostess often talked to herself, as if an invisible interlocutor was next to her. When Sarah left this world in 1922, the construction suddenly stopped. The workers simply put the tools. After all, no one else gave them instructions. By that time, the house had more than 160 rooms, dozens of stairs, hundreds of windows, and miles of confusing corridors. Part of the building fell upon the earthquake, but even after that, the mansion remained a grandiose structure. Today, the Winchester house is not just an architectural wonder. This is a symbol of mystery, riddles, which still excites the minds of researchers and fans of mysticism. Visitors say that inside you feel strange silence, as if the walls have stored other people's stories. Steps are heard in the corridors, although there is no one nearby, and drafts appear where there should not be air movement. And although Sarah left almost 100 years ago, it seems that her presence is still in these halls, filled with shadows of the past. When the heirs first went inside, they were amazed. The house resembled a living maze, where a new riddle could hide behind each door. Some of the rooms were mothballed, as if Sarah was about to return and continue to work. Over time, the house became a local attraction. People came to look at the endless mansion, amazed by its size and strange architecture. But together with curiosity came another feeling, the feeling that there was something more in these walls than just wood and stone. Already in the 1920s, stories began to appear from those who spent the night in the house. People claimed that someone invisible was passing through the corridors. The servants who remained to guard the mansion complained about strange sounds, steps on the stairs, quiet voices, and the ringing of a bell, which used Sarah to convene a servant. Some claimed that they saw in the windows the figure of a woman in black. She seemed to watch the guests, but as soon as she came closer, she disappeared. The mansion gradually surrounded the reputation of the house with the presence. Over time, the Winchester house has become an object of interest for paranormal researchers. Groups with equipment came here: cameras, voice recorders, temperature sensors. Inexplicable phenomena were recorded in the reports: sharp temperature changes in separate rooms, the noise of steps and the creak of the halts for no apparent reason, voices recorded on an audio swimmer, which were not heard during the recording. One of the most famous stories occurred in the 1970s. A group of researchers claimed that she saw doors that opened and closed by themselves. Another time, the equipment suddenly failed, and the equipment worked only when people left the basement. There is a version that Sarah built a house according to a special plan to confuse those who could pursue her from an invisible world. That is why the mansion is full of stairs to the ceiling, doors to the void, and windows to the walls. Even today, guides say that visitors are sometimes lost in corridors. Some feel that someone was leading, and then leaves them alone with silence. Particular attention is attracted by the session room. This is a small room without windows, where Sarah allegedly went at night. The legend says that there she received instructions on how to rebuild the house further. Guides argue that in this room, tourists most often complain of cold air and a sense of gaze from the back. Today, the Winchester house is open for excursions, and thousands of people visit it annually. Many note an unusual atmosphere. Even on a sunny day, twilight reigns inside, and long corridors seem to go into infinity. Employees say that at night, the house is especially restless. Sometimes quiet conversations, clapping doors, and rustles are heard, as if someone was walking up the stairs. Tourists share photos in which strange silhouettes appear. Someone sees the female appearance in ancient clothes, someone shadows in the corners. Of course, skeptics explain this by a game of light and imagination, but legends continue to multiply. The main mystery of the Winchester house is that it was never completed. This building remains in a state of construction forever. It has rooms without doors, doors without rooms, stairs without meaning. Many believe that this is precisely the secret. The house has become a symbol of the endless movement, which continues after its mistress left. Even after a century, people feel that the walls of the mansion have more than just the story of one family. This place reminds that a person can build a whole world in order to hide from his fears, but sometimes this world begins to live his own life. Today, the Winchester house is called one of the most mystical buildings in the United States. He entered the books of records, documentaries were shot about him. He is mentioned in artworks. But despite fame, the main question remains unanswered. What exactly moved Sarah? Was it the eccentricity of a wealthy widow, or she really tried to defend herself from the fact that she did not fit into the framework of the usual understanding? In any case, her mansion became the embodiment of this secret. The house continues to live, attracting people from all over the world, and everyone takes with him a piece of its mysterious atmosphere.